Friday, July 21st, 2017. This is the MMAjunkie Radio pre-show. This is how we get things done before the real show starts. This is where all the secrets come out. Should be a fun show today. Gorgeous George in the house. And we're going to have some fun guests on today's show. Combate Americas representing. We're wearing... oh, George got a shirt on today. Man, I just did something stupid too.
What'd you do?
Well, I could have just put that thing up on the screen earlier. Let me switch the cameras here. You guys can stare at Joe. Oh, George is in there too?
He's coming up in a minute.
Alright, I'll be right back.
Want some water?
Yeah, they're little. Why not?
Cold or regular?
That's fine.
Okay.
That's as far as you'll go, right?
Me? Yeah. What I gotta do, sit on his lap?
Coming up to 30.
Oh, okay. What's up, Danny?
Not too much. How's it going?
Good.
Good. Alright, guys. Coming up at 10. Stand by.
This is your captain speaking. We are making our descent into Las Vegas McCarran Airport. On behalf of our crew, we'd like to thank you for flying MMAjunkie Airlines. Now please fasten your seatbelts and put your tray tables in your upright position because the descent is gonna be a little bit bumpy.
Alright, Junkie Nation, it's time to roll, baby, on MMAjunkie Radio with Gorgeous George and Gold. This is what we do and why we do it, baby. All night long, we rollin'! Yeah!
The MMAjunkie Radio revolution is upon us.
Can you dig it?
There's no escape. No escape. Through the vast frontier of cyberspace and through a sea of stars in outer space.
One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
We've solidified our combat communication stranglehold.
We are controlling transmission.
With the use of MMAjunkie Radio and SiriusXM satellite radio technology. MMAjunkie Radio. Commence transmission. Live from MMAjunkie Radio HQ in the fight capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada. Here are your hosts, Gorgeous George and Goes.
From the fight capital of the world, inside the beautiful Mandalay Bay Racing Sportsbook, you are listening to the MMAjunkie Radio Show, the only show that matters. I'm your host, Gorgeous George. With me, as always, is the devious and dastardly Goes, our East co-host, back east, handling all the producing duties. It's going to be Danny sitting to my right, one of the stars of the upcoming Combate Classico event that takes place next Thursday, so 6 days away. Joey Ruquet. Joe Ruquet is in our studio. What's up, Joe? How you doing?
Pretty good, man. How about yourself?
Doing great, man. You're kind of chill.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a chill dude, huh?
Until the cage door closes.
And then that's what time it is,
Yeah,
right?
that's right.
All right. Joe, see, they got all the marketing is Joey.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I'm going to, like,
You go ahead.
untrain myself.
I think
Go
there's
with
different
Joey.
stages.
Go with Joey?
Go with Joey.
Like right now, he's,
Thanks,
he's
Joe.
We'll run
Joe,
it. We'll run it.
but Joey could be like the guy that steps in the cage.
Yeah, you
Joseph
should be.
is probably the guy that when you get in trouble, when you do some stupid shit.
All right,
Joseph!
Joseph, get your
Yeah.
ass over here.
So that's my mom, yeah.
Right. And Joe should be what steps in the cage. And then Joey's like,
Joe.
look at Joey, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Joey got me a nice Christmas gift.
Yeah.
Something like that.
There you go.
There's actually a song called Joey. You walk out to it? It's old 80s shit, man. I hope you don't, actually.
No.
Play it, Danny. Can you find it?
Joey?
There is a song called
No,
Joey.
no.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those cheesy ones, but it actually was popular back in the day.
Uh-huh.
So, you might tug on the heartstrings of the old school crowd. Yeah, what's up? I like that kid. You know, but you probably won't be like, won't be like
I might
making you
skip.
rise to the occasion.
I might skip out.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Like, Pat Benatar. Here it
That
comes.
song?
Here it comes.
I've heard this song. That's what it's called, Joey?
Dude, that's not bad. Seriously, everyone's expecting fucking Metallica or something hard, you know, hip hop, and then all of a sudden you just walk out with some shades on, with a real slow strut, almost like a Fedor-esque stoic walk.
Your collar might have to be up too.
The billionaire strut down.
Something like that, man. That might be more scary than like, you know, somebody was Triple H in the other day. I think it was not Felder, but Stevie Ray. No, Santiago Ponzinibbio.
What's Triple H?
You know, like when you drink the water and then shoot it in the air.
Yeah.
So Frankie Edgar sprints. There's other guys that are mean mugging the whole time. But if you just walk out real chill. Am I onto something, or should I just shut up and move on to the next topic?
I mean, it might sell, but I don't know.
Do you have your songs picked out?
I go different songs, depends. You know, sometimes I'll walk out to Lose Yourself by Eminem, or We Will Rock You by Queen, or, you know, some AC/DC, you know.
Have you heard this song before?
I have not.
Really?
It might be my new favorite.
There you go. Play it for a little while, Danny. All right, so we'll go with Joey now at this point. Joey El Cazador Ruquet here in studio with us. 4-1. He's going to be fighting Vinny the Instigator Pantaleon. And this takes place again next Thursday, Combate Clásico. It's in conjunction with the Clásico that's taking place, Barcelona versus Real Madrid in the Intercontinental Cup Championship for soccer. So that's a huge deal out in Miami. The first time those two big soccer teams have ever played stateside against each other. Obviously, they play each other 2 times a year in Spain, but here stateside, that's going to be a huge Clásico. Last night there was a Clásico, by the way. Shout out to Man U, who won 2-0 over Man City. All right, so we got a video that we want to show you, and I'm going to step back here. If you if you can hit it.
Yeah, it's a little promo video we got here.
All right.
Cage, to me, it's not a fight. It's a life or death situation. I have to win. I got to fight for my kids, provide food on the table. You know, this is the career that I chose. A good friend of mine pushed me into doing this fight tournament in Oklahoma. It was 7 fights in 2 days for the Oklahoma State title. And I went there, all 7 fights, won in 2 days, and took the Oklahoma State title. Focused all my intentions into becoming a professional fighter. My name is Joey El Cazador Ruquet. I'm Puerto Rican and French. I'm not going to underestimate the kid. He's hungry. He doesn't have nearly the experience that I do. He bleeds the same blood I do. I really don't care. He sees an opportunity. He's taken a door that's open for him to make a name for himself. But I'm the wrong person to choose, man. Like, he doesn't realize it. He might have made a big mistake.
Nice.
Pretty cool.
I like that. Yeah. All right. So obviously the dad's side is the French side.
Mm-hmm.
The mom's side is the Puerto Rican side. All right. Cool. And how close are you, I guess, to the French side? Have you ever been to France? No. I asked you earlier if you spoke French. You don't. But
no. My dad, he's 73 years old. Ran away from home when he was 17.
Oh wow.
So I haven't really been in too much contact with his side of the family.
Mm-hmm.
Recently, over the past like maybe 6 years, they come from New York, or his immediate sisters and stuff come, and I've met them, but as far as involvement, it's like once every couple years we'll see them.
And what about the Puerto Rican side?
Dude, they're everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's more Puerto Rican kind of in
for
you,
sure,
even though you rock the French name, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I embrace my Puerto Rican heritage almost 98%.
Puerto Rican food good. I haven't really had, I guess, authentic Puerto Rican
empanadas is my favorite.
Is it?
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
Plantains are in every Latin culture. But
what city did you grow up in?
I grew up in Florida, Venice, Florida.
And then when did you get out to Vegas? How long you been here?
I've been here for 4 years.
Like it?
As long as you have a purpose to be wherever the hell you're at,
yeah,
it's worth it. So
right.
if you're just gonna move to Vegas for the fun of it, it's the weather sucks,
So Florida to Vegas with a pit stop in Oklahoma to beat up 7 dudes.
Well,
was that amateur? It sounds like.
Yeah, that was just in the beginning of my amateur career.
Okay.
And yeah, I traveled a lot between New York, Georgia, Alabama, Oklahoma, Vegas, California, all for my amateur.
This is home though.
Yeah, this is where I wanted to.
Your home gyms are?
Torres MMA Sport.
Okay.
That's with Sensei Juan Torres, 12-time world kickboxing champion,
Right.
and Steve Pellegrino, who's the jiu-jitsu
Oh,
coach.
Steve.
Yeah, Steve.
The Sandman.
Oh man, that guy.
We know Steve.
Yeah,
Please tell him we said hello. George and Ghost
Yeah,
from the
definitely.
Junkie Radio Show.
Yeah.
Is he? Will he be cornering you?
Yeah, he'll be there in Miami.
Nice. Yeah, he's intense.
Yeah.
He's a grappler, and he's there to rip off limbs. And
He's
Yeah.
intense with everything, though, right?
He
You go,
is.
what's your favorite potato chip? Like, he'll get intense with everything.
yeah. Nah, Steve's cool.
Yeah, he'll be like, I don't like these because they're too salty.
Yeah.
Do you do the circuit in Vegas, amongst the other gyms, or do you stay with Torres most of the
He
time?
brings guys from other gyms, either if it's from Master Ricardo's or he has some friends over at Go Coors, and we'll work with Division I wrestlers, NCAA wrestlers. He'll bring in high level people. Jason Andrade, a good striker, sparring.
He's Muay Thai guy, lion fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
like that kid. He's tough. He's
we'll-
scrappy.
we'll work together. Anytime, depending on who I'm fighting and stuff, they'll bring in certain people.
Now, this is refreshing. Usually it's an extreme fighter, extreme couture fighter, or Syndicate's the other one we hear, and then of course we hear the other ones from time to time.
One
But
kick Nicks.
yeah,
Yeah, they go around. But, George brought up Vegas being your home. What about Combate Americas now? You've had quite a few fights with them. Does that feel like home now?
Yeah, it does. It does. They treat me like family instead of another fighter. They actually look out and try to get me, like, interviews like this today and promotional videos, and they see what my family is seeing in me, a gift, and then they embrace it.
When we were watching that video, we were seeing some of your submissions at work, and we've seen a lot of them in the cage. What about that KO? When's that KO coming?
Now, with the KO, they got to try to stop trying to take me down, man.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm a striker. I don't even initiate the takedown, They try to take me down when they don't want to stand, and then they end up getting submitted. So I'm well-rounded. I'll take it wherever they want. If they want to keep it standing, you'll see the knockout, but I'm not going to try to stand up immediately. I'll just choke them out.
When him and I were kids, we're out there playing. We're playing basketball. We're Magic Johnson. If we're throwing football, we're Joe Montana. And we're envisioning that deep bomb or something. What do you envision for that first KO? Is it a spinning back fist, a head kick?
In my amateur, I've had a lot of knockouts until the end. Out of 22 amateur fights, I had
22.
Yeah, 20-2 with five titles.
Damn.
And I think my first 8 fights, I got 6 knockouts. My very first fight was like a 13-second knockout, something like that. It was in Oklahoma. It was a long time ago. And I think out of 22, I have about 13 knockouts, and the rest submission, maybe like 3 decisions. So.
But what's your favorite KO?
Favorite KO was
you like to use the hands, throw a knee, an elbow.
I'd like to get a knockout with an elbow, but I slice a lot with my elbows instead of hitting blunt. On the forearm, I hit with the tip, cut them. But my favorite elbow would be in boxing, yeah, for sure. I mean, favorite knockout would be for boxing. My favorite knockout was against Corey Conway. That was for the 135-pound title for Tough Enough. I knocked him out in the first 7 seconds of the second round.
Wow, when was that?
That was 2 years ago. He's a Randy Couture's guy.
We used to call the fights for Tough Enough. So last year we were very consistent. This year we haven't. 2 years ago, I think we were in and out with different other broadcast teams. So, all right. So you're 4-1 overall, 2-1 with Combate. You got Vinny Pantaleon. Well, tell me your goals, like for the rest of this year and maybe all of 2018.
The rest of this year, finish my contract for sure. Get that done. I had missed out on 2 fights, so that's 2 fights that I don't have down on my contract. So.
What do you mean you missed out on 2 fights?
Well, I broke my nose, and I didn't want to have it a risk and get it hit in the middle of a fight, and just have it.
Oh, so they offered you two times, and you had to decline.
I had to decline.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, and so I missed out on 2 good wins that would have been 2 off the contract, and so now I got to do 2 more to make up for it. I'd like to get the contract out of the way. And if Combate wants to sign me again, I'm all for it. Combate's treated me like gold. And
so they get first dibs.
Yeah, Combate gets first dibs.
That's cool to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, every time you've said, like, Combate, and either earlier you said empanada, it sounds like maybe you know a little bit of Spanish?
Yeah, hablo un poquito.
Oh, nice.
Entiendo más, though.
Okay. Yeah, because a lot of people will say that, and then I'll ask them, oh, do you speak Spanish? Go, no. They just kind of like spice up a little bit when it comes to throwing out a Spanish term.
Like, oh, I dance salsa.
School or family? Or?
I learn with my kids.
Yeah?
Yeah, so as they're learning, I learn. And
Your
plus,
kids taught you. Is that what you said?
Kinda. My wife, you know, they'll teach them, and she has me teach him too.
Oh,
the
okay.
basic stuff, and I learn.
So you're in class as well.
There we go.
Nice. All right, cool. And you said kids, so that's one I see right now. How many others do you have?
I have one more. He's two.
Two boys.
Yeah, 2 boys.
Very cool. That one's the older one, obviously. That's the 5-year-old?
Yeah.
And he knows what daddy does.
Yeah.
Okay, so he can see what daddy does.
Yeah.
And is he ever in the stadium or the arena, or is he more of a stream or TV watcher?
He's been there since he was in her stomach. When I was 18 years old, I fought Saul Alencar. I was 14-2 at the time. I fought him for the Florida State title at 135 pounds. She was 8 months pregnant, and I beat the guy, and they gave it to her, the belt, to walk out and put around my waist while she was 8 months pregnant.
Oh, wow.
So he's been involved quite a bit. Even my fight in Mexico, they flew out, and he was there in the crowd in Mexico.
No shit.
So yeah, they'll bring him out.
That's
and
pretty cool.
Big support.
We can't even get him in the studio because of
I
these
know.
gaming laws we have in Nevada. Apologies for that,
Yeah,
but that's
no,
a
it's
pretty
all good.
strict one.
What do you think of, I mean, he's going to come to the age where he may say something like, Daddy, I want to do that one day. What are you going to tell him?
I'd rather him learn how to fight than fight. There's a lot of sacrifices and a lot of hurt feelings that get involved in it. You know, it's almost like a one-man show. It's, you know, the suffering from the weight cuts and destroying your body, conditioning. Like, it's not just lifting weights and punching and learning skill, man. You're conditioning your shins, you're chipping away your bones, you're getting hit in the body. It's pain that I don't want to see my son go through.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we had enough connections in the baseball world. I'd rather see him go professional in baseball. Or
What kind of connections?
my wife's dad's the first base coach for the Milwaukee Brewers.
Oh, yeah?
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Was he a professional baseball player?
Yeah,
back in
from
the day?
Venezuela. Yeah, he's really famous in Venezuela. But
¿Cómo se llama?
Carlos Subero.
Carlos Subero. Okay.
Mhm.
Nice. What does he think of your career?
They watched one fight. It was the one in Mexico where I got the guy all bloodied up. And, you know, they're a really calm family, and they're watching it. And you see them, they said they were watching it, and they're like, oh, kill him, kill him, kill him. And it was hilarious because they're a big Christian family, and they're like,
They came out of their shells?
yeah, they came out. They're like, we can't watch your fights, man. Something happened to the family. So they support me 100% in my career. Her
Very
dad
cool.
is a very competitive, you know, guy.
Daddy's girl's in good hands, at least,
Yeah.
right?
And they just won't watch another fight.
Oh, that's it? That was it? One time?
Yeah, one time they're like, that's too intense, too much blood.
Not even maybe on TV or something like that?
They watched it on TV.
Oh, that was on TV they were going that nuts?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. But they got to at least see it up close then one time,
Yeah,
right?
one time. We'll
They'll
convince
change
them.
their mind.
We'll
Yeah.
convince them. I'll tell them, all right, no elbows.
Wow. And do you have any baseball skills that your kid might acquire? Or?
No, she played softball in high school.
Okay.
So she goes. We play baseball together. We'll go to the park. We'll throw for him, let him hit, and stuff like that. So we're
Does the
involved.
boy have skills?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
dude. At 2 years old, he was hitting fastballs.
Very cool.
Yeah, he's got it. Good hand and eye coordination,
Mhm.
and I hold pad work and stuff. He fights too. Just I don't want him to competitively fight.
This is Joe Ruquet, a.k.a. Joey Ruquet. He's going to be fighting next Thursday, July 27th, in Miami, Florida, at Combate Clásico. He's got Vinny Pantaleon, the instigator, in front of him. What do you know about Vinny Pantaleon?
Boxer, wrestler.
Yeah. Boxer first or wrestle first?
Wrestler first, more than likely.
Okay. So he developed hands.
Yeah.
And you have natural hands that's the first thing you knew how to do out
Yeah.
of all the disciplines?
Yeah. Kickboxing was my first martial
So you
art.
anticipate him to maybe feel you out, but the minute you tat, he's going to want to take you down.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when the submission game comes in. How
If he
evolved
can get me down.
is the submission game? Like, do you wear the gi? Have you been tested for belts?
Yeah,
Or do you know what level you are?
I'm a brown belt in jiu-jitsu, and I'm a level 7 under Gokor.
Mhm.
So I have sambo and regular jiu-jitsu. Steve's a second generation under Carlson Gracie.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a high level in jits. And I work a lot with NCAA Division I wrestlers for counter wrestling. So, I mean, as far as the jits game goes, it goes to the ground. I'm not going to sit there and grapple with the guy, you know, because there's elbows, there's punches and stuff like that. So the reason why my submissions come so quick, we do hit submissions. 5-10 seconds. you have from the moment your back hits the ground.
I like that.
To hit a submission, and if you can't hit a submission, stand the hell up.
That's perfect.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah. I love the guy, but you saw the Vanderlei Silva fight against Chael Sonnen.
Yeah.
He had the full guard locked in, and if I can explain this right, I was told by a high-level referee, if you're trying to get stood up, but you got underhooks or you're tied up, and you have a full guard, the referee's less likely to do it, because what he wants to see is you to open up your guard, maybe put your butterflies on his hips, and now if the guy on top isn't doing anything, then he'll stall it, because he's rewarding him for getting that top position. Now he wants to see what he can do, but if all you're doing is stalling the action, he hasn't put the onus on the guy on top. Is all that making sense?
Yeah.
Whereas now if you open up and the guy still isn't doing anything, now it's like, well, guy, what do you want? He's obviously trying to get up, but you're still kind of laying there. And so then they're more likely to get the fight up. So that's perfect.
Yeah.
Work for something, and if not, then start to get up. But don't rely on the ref just because you're tying him up to get you up. At least that's what one guy told me.
Yeah.
That kind of knows what the hell he's doing, that's for sure.
Well, I was going to ask, Joe, so let's go back to the amateur fights. Why so many of them?
It's experience. Amateur is a learning experience. The more ring time you have, the more ring experience you have, the more styles that you face. You don't want to fight 5 guys and think, oh, I'm the best. Then you go into pro, fight a guy you've never even encountered before, and who might have had 30 professional fights, and then you're out there getting your ass kicked. You look like an amateur in the pro circuit, So I wanted to be a professional amateur, so when I went pro, I was a pro.
Do you remember what it was exactly that clicked after that last amateur fight that said, all right, I'm ready?
10 consecutive wins, and I won the Tough Enough title, and King of the Cage was a world title, and I made my last title defense. And they asked me, what's next? And I said, pro, going pro. Just,
What about those training camps that you suffered, though? It would have been nice to get paid for some of them. You went 24 fights, right? 24 and 2?
20 and 2.
20 and 2? So 22. So, because King Mo, the Strikeforce light heavyweight champ, current Bellator contender, once told me he would advise people to keep them a little bit more brief. But I guess he's already a pro fighter. He's tasted the payday, but he says you might as well get paid. He also comes from high-level wrestling, so I think maybe he felt more prepared. But did you ever think, man, I could be getting paid for some of these great KOs?
It would have been nice, but
bonuses and shit.
A lot of people think too much about the money. Like, oh, I want to get paid. I want to get paid. I want to be a pro, and you can't rush success. I was patient, and that's what a lot of people don't have is patience for their dreams to come true. The opportunity is going to come. It's going to present itself. So you got to be patient, stay focused, and just focus on your goals. My goal was to become a very well-rounded and experienced amateur. So when I went pro, I was ready. I didn't want to have no doubts when I made my pro debut.
You're too mature. I want you to tell us something stupid you've done to make us feel better about ourselves. Because when I was your age, I was not as mature as you. Did you steal something or you do anything dumb?
I listen. I'm surrounded by very well experienced coaches and master tours and all them, and I take their wisdom, and I'm not ignorant about it. Like, oh, you don't know. It's my career. I'm gonna go. I'm the one in the cage. There's a lot of people who say that, and it's they've done well over 100 amateur fights back in the day, and it's boxers still to this day do more than 20, 30 amateur fights, and they're taking more blows to the head. Majority of the fights in MMA, people are trying to take to the ground. You're not getting hit in the head as much. In Muay Thai fights, I've done 7 kickboxing fights. I went 7-0, and those you don't have a choice but to stand up. You're getting hit in the head more. So MMA, you're taking less damage in a way. An amateur, you're not getting elbowed and kneed in the face.
Elbows aren't allowed in Tough Enough. I don't know about the other organizations, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So,
how many people you got going to your fight?
I don't know. I know we're selling immediate-wise, friends and family. My career started in Florida. We are selling maybe close to 100 tickets there, and then on Ticketon.com. People are buying tickets too, coming from Carolinas. And
is there one person that can't make it but you wish would be there?
No, I'm pretty sure.
This guy's a gangster. Everybody's showing up. You can't even get people to go to our
what about the Milwaukee Brewers guy, the father-in-law?
I don't think he would want to go, but he definitely supports.
Yeah.
For sure, 100%. he sends
because it's a connection, pro athlete to pro athlete.
Yeah, and he's busy with the baseball team and stuff, but he will send me a message, a voice message on her phone and tell me
Spanish
good luck.
or English?
English.
Oh, not like sácale la mierda or
Yeah.
something. Okay. Does this guy get a pass? Can he, push your buttons at the press conference or in the hotel? He is the instigator.
Yeah, he hasn't instigated anything yet. It's funny.
Yeah.
No, I don't fall into that crap. People try to talk smack. The last guy I fought in Mexico, that guy was more of an instigator than he was. We were squaring off. He had his hand on my chin,
Touching it or
yeah,
close to it?
On it, just pushing against it, and I just, I stay focused. I don't lose my head. I don't lose my focus. I stay calm and I fight smart.
Mm-hmm.
Fight aggressive, but I fight smart.
Yeah. Did you see when Valentina and Amanda kind of squared off? Amanda says Valentina got close to her chin, and so Amanda pushed off. Did you see that?
Yeah.
A while back.
That you're basically
getting
saying
too ruffled too quickly, huh?
Yeah, you're basically telling them whatever they react, you're gonna they can tell how you're gonna react.
Because everybody says you're don't touch him, but this is interesting to hear. As he's touching him, he's just fighting him back as if to say, so what?
Mm-hmm.
That's not bothering me.
It's tough to do, but if you can do it, you're sending a big message to the guy that's trying to get under your skin, right?
Yeah.
He ended up leaving him with over 50 stitches in his face, so.
All right, so I like to ask every in-studio guest if they can share a good street fight story with us.
Street fight story, I got a lot of those. I'll go with my last street fight before I moved to Las Vegas.
This is in the mean streets of Florida somewhere?
Yeah. It was a going away party before I went to the airport, day before the airport to leave to Las Vegas. And my good friend George Damiano, we're having an after party, and we're drinking, having a good time, and some guy, for some reason, destroys his mailbox, just rips it out of the ground. So
he's one of those where it's outside the house?
Yeah,
or attached to
right
the
there
entrance?
on next to the edge of the sidewalk.
Yeah.
And rips it out with a car or kicks it down. I have no idea. But you see the mail everywhere, and you see the car taking off. He looks at me, and he's like, Joey. And I was like, took off my shirt. We jumped in the car. We're following him. We're booking it, hauling down the road. And this guy's turning his turning signals on every which way he's going. He's like a mile ahead of us. So he's initially telling us where he's going all the time. Mm-hmm. So they thought that.
Did he know you were behind him?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. And then we got to a red light. And I get out of the car. I open the door. I start grabbing the people out of the car, and they gunned it. Run a red light. I'm chasing the car. I'm wasted. So I'm
T1000.
Dude, I'm trying to chase it. They're like, get in the car, and I'm like, no, I got this. And finally I got in the car, jumped in. We ended up going in front of a Denny's. They thought they lost us. We get into Denny's.
And you're still running?
No, I got in the car this time. We get out of the car. They get out of the car. They thought they lost us. And we start just going to town on these dudes.
It's just you and your buddy?
Yeah, me and my buddy against
George?
4 or 5 people. Yeah, George.
Okay, and then they have 5?
About 4 or 5 people.
All dudes?
Yeah, all dudes.
Okay, and what happens?
We pull the guy out. George knocks out this guy with a hard left hook. I knocked out another guy. One guy starts punching me in the face from behind. I grabbed him. We're elbowing him. This guy's leaking blood all over the floor. This is in front of Denny's. You see people eating, looking outside. I'm still on the trunk, knocking this guy's teeth at the back of his head, and they're pulling me off like, come on, we got to go. Cops, we got to go. And I was like, no, and I'm kneeing this guy, punching him in the face. And then we finally dipped out. We come back to the house. Everybody's like, what happened? I got blood all over my chest. They're like, oh, my God. My wife's like, she just found out she was pregnant with my son, too. So that was a great surprise. And we're like, all right, I'm leaving Florida with a big bang,
Don't disrespect that mailbox, huh?
Yeah. Did George know who those guys were?
Yeah.
So he knows. So they ripped out the mailbox on purpose for a reason. They picked him out.
Is there a reason why they did it? Is there
they were at the party.
Friendship grudge or
isn't
family
it easier
grudge?
just to throw like a rock through the window or something like
right.
the actual mailbox? And
they were just drunk and said, let's do something stupid on the way out. And they disrespected the dude's house.
All right. That's valuable mail.
Now, by the way, parties are at night. Why hadn't he cleared the mail? Like, does he let it pile up or something?
He was living at his mom's at the time. I was like 18 years old, 19 years old.
Oh.
So we were young.
I'm grabbing that stuff right away. You just don't know if there's a check in there or something, right?
Right.
All right. Well, this has been fun, man, getting to know you. You live in Vegas. Hopefully we can have you back in here.
Yeah, for sure.
One day we'd like to have you co-host an episode with us where you're a co-host with us. And
awesome.
You know, if you're down.
Yeah, I'm
Because
down.
you're very well spoken, and like I said, Ghost nailed it. You're a pretty mature dude, so it'll balance us two clowns over here. Do you want to shout out your sponsors, your social media, or anything you got going on, man? Now's the time. I got the Twitter right here at Joey El Cazador. But what else you got?
Yeah, I have Twitter and Facebook, all the same name, Joey El Cazador. You can follow me on either of those. I post a lot of upcoming events, fights, past events, you name it. My sponsors, Eliminate Brand Clothing, and
it was you trying to chase down the car. Except we don't see the car, right, Gus?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's
do you remember that movie?
Dude, yeah, I do.
Terminator
it's a T-1000.
It's a T-1000. Did you get it when he said it?
Yeah, I got it.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure it was like
that's
right over your head or not.
That's perfect. That's what I felt like. I swear, all the lights were going by so fast. I was in hyperspeed.
I'm sorry. I cut off your shout-outs.
Yeah, so Eliminate Brand Clothing, MMA gear, good clothing, and Valley Spine. Help me with my adjustments and stuff like that for my body, soreness and all that. They're good people. Shout out to my wife, Carlos Subero, and my mom, Rosanna Haseviera, for giving me all the support. Steve Pellegrino, Juan Torres, thank you for all the awesome and painful classes. Getting ready for the fight.
And
July
you just
27th.
turned 25, like last week.
It was my birthday.
You want to shout out to Snapchat?
Snapchat?
Yeah, well, you're 25. 25 and under have Snapchat, don't they?
I don't
know.
I
he is mature. He's over it. You don't have Snapchat.
Yeah, I have it. I don't
it?
use it like that.
I had a feeling, yeah. I'm batting like 1,000 on that one.
Yeah.
Man, I'm going to Snapchat this right now. Both you bozos.
All right, man. Thanks for stopping by.
Appreciate it,
don't forget, folks, next Thursday, Combate Clásico. It's gonna be a classic. There you go. Joey Ruquet is gonna be getting down against the Instigator. I love it, man. I like that guy's name. Even though he doesn't instigate much, I think he needs to pick that up a little bit. But Vinny Pantaleon, 1-1 versus Joey Ruquet, 4-1. And we'll be telling you more about all those details, how you can view it. I know ESPN3 and the available on the app is one of the ways, so you have no excuses, folks. And Goz and I will be live tweeting, so definitely join the party. Coming up next will be Ricky Palacios, also fighting on that card. We'll be talking to him. He'll be calling in, so it's going to be a fun show ahead of us. It's MMA Junkie Radio on Sirius XM Rush 93.
Let's see. Up, up, down, down, left, right, B-A, start. You told me that code would get rid of them. Yeah, well, they're still here. Okay, but now they know I tried to kill them. Hold on, Mom. Here are George and Goes.
The countdown to training camp is underway. Stay tuned throughout the summer for the latest on all 32 teams as they get set for the 2017 season. The only place to hear 24/7 coverage of the National Football League is SiriusXM, NFL Radio, Channel 88, and on the SiriusXM app. Thank you, Danny, for not giving me the Alexa one. That one's a tough one. All right, Ricky Palacios is our next guest. Staying with the Combate Clásico theme next Thursday, Jueves, we can say it that way, Thursday or Jueves, the 27th of July or el 27 de Julio, Combate Clásico will be having another great card, and these guys have been knocking it out of the park. Goes and I have been there as fans, we've commentated, and we've watched them from home, and they always deliver, man. Something about Campbell and the crew, and they really get these fighters pumped up and ready to deliver. Ricky Palacios is 8-1 overall. He'll be fighting Chris Avila, and we're going to show you a quick video, and then we'll bring in Ricky Palacios. Go ahead, Goes.
It's gonna be a scrap, dude.
Yeah, it takes place at Manat Wynwood Convention Center, and to get tickets, it's ticketon.com. Welcome to the show, Ricky Palacios. How you doing, Ricky?
Pretty good. By yourself?
Good, man. Welcome to MMA Junkie Radio. You're on with George and Goes. Great to have you on. Big fan of your style of fighting, man. You really lay it out there for everybody.
I appreciate it for having me. I just love to fight.
Yeah, and did that start from like an early age? Were you one of those kids that just got into some trouble, or your parents had a tough time, you know, like, hey, Ricky, come on, you know, like, behave and things like that?
I mean, I've always had a lot of energy, but I didn't start getting into trouble or kind of fighting until I was maybe in, you know, my junior year.
What pushed your buttons? What would you say pushed your buttons where you had to throw down?
Man, I wish... I come from El Barrio. I come from the hood. You know, I saw a lot of gangbanging. I saw a lot of, you know, all that kind of stuff out there, drugs, you know, rumbles and all that stuff. So I kind of grew up into it. You know, it kind of scared me a little when I was growing up because you see blood, broken windows, gunshots. You know, it was a little crazy. So, but it took me a while for me to really, like, I guess, man up and be like, you know what, fuck this shit. So I was a little bit obese. I started losing weight in high school, and then started getting a little bit of confidence and just started banging with people.
Mm-hmm. You know, it's funny because I just saw the UFC produce something called In the Clinch with Tyron Woodley, and he kind of saying the same things you did, just in a rough neighborhood, you just can't get away from it. And then eventually it clicked one day, and he said, this isn't for me, and he wound up going to college to wrestle and all that stuff. But do you remember the moment when you said to yourself, it wasn't for me? What was there? Was there something that opened your eyes?
Well, I got married young. I have two beautiful daughters, Natalie and Jackie. And then, but I would drink a lot. So then I started going to bars downtown here in McAllen, Texas, and started getting into a little bit of trouble. So when I got into trouble, I got arrested about 2 times. And then I said, you know what, let me try to do something with this. You know, I'm good at it. I love the adrenaline rush. I'm an adrenaline junkie. And just joined an MMA gym, and ever since that day, you know, I'm here now.
Well, that's cool. All right. How old are Natalie and Jackie?
10 and 9. Natalie's about to be 11 the 24th of May.
Are they excited about Daddy fighting in 6 days, or are they scared? You know, like, obviously it's violence.
Oh, man, they've gone to all my fights. I think this is the only fight they're not going to go to.
Mm-hmm.
because it was a last-minute fight. But they've gone to all my fights. They traveled with me to Miami when Combate America first started with the reality show. They were out there in Miami, Las Vegas, Los Angeles, Arizona, and all over Texas.
And so they're loving it.
They're
big smiles on their faces. They're not nervous or looking away or looking down or nothing like that?
No, they're screaming and yelling. Man, they motivate me. They push me. I mean, they're a little crazy like me.
What happened the one time you lost? How did they take it? Were there tears or did they put their arm around you and just say, hey, get them next time?
Yeah, pretty much they were like, it's okay, Daddy. It happens. I tell them eventually, the sports, even the best lose.
Yeah.
So, best in the world, they lose. So I tell you, it's going to happen eventually. So, yeah, they already know. I didn't take it. I didn't take it bad. They didn't take it bad. They know it's part of the sports. You win some, you lose some. But, that was about maybe, 3 years ago for my first loss ever in my career.
Yeah.
Even as an amateur and pro, but I learned a lot from it.
Ricky Palacios, our guest here on MMA Junkie Radio. He'll be fighting next Thursday. Combate Americas presents Combate Clásico. And that is in conjunction with the Clásico Barcelona versus Real Madrid. That's taking place for the first time in the United States that those two iconic soccer clubs will be playing each other. He's going to be fighting Chris Avila, part of that team that Nate Diaz and all those guys roll with, Cesar Gracie team. Avila's 5-4, Palacios 8-1. All right, Goes. What do you have for Ricky Palacios?
Ricky, the loss that George was talking about, did it almost take some pressure off getting that loss a little early in your career?
I don't know about pressure, because every fight, it's crazy, that feeling never goes away, that nervousness and stuff like that. I wish I would have done things a little bit different to keep my winning streak going. There were some things that happened in the camp, but, my opponent came and did what he had to do. He knew I had some hands, and, he was able to, I guess, put in his game plan and come out with a victory.
Ricky, we've seen quite a few of your fights, and the one thing we can always point to is just how explosive you can be with 5 KO stoppages. The last 3, though, have kind of gone to the decision. What do you have to do to get back to the explosive guy and back on that streak? Do you think that streak will end here?
It's more of the guy giving me a fight. My last fight in Los Angeles, the kid came out banging. He had heart. I dropped him 5 times. He wouldn't stay down. A lot of these guys that I hit and I dropped, they don't want to come up. They don't want to get up anymore. This kid was pushing and pushing. Other than that, my 2 other decision victories, I had the guys run around too much. They didn't come in and engage with me. They didn't want to engage with me, so it was more of the, chasing and try to beat them down with a jab and try to get that one shot in because, they didn't want to come and exchange. They feel my power and they start running. Well, that's my opinion.
Ricky, every time I've ever seen you, you got the hat on. The only time I've ever seen you not have the hat is when you're fighting. Does the hat have a name? You got to give it a name, man.
No, we don't have a name. Maybe I should name it. No, it's a Tejano style. It's a Texas style. Wearing that cowboy hat, my cowboy boots, button-up shirt, nice jeans. It's just the style. It's called Tejano, or we call it kicker.
I like it.
Give it a name, George.
Give it a name. Let me see. El Cabrón.
The hat?
Yeah. No. Let me see. Let me think here.
El Chingón.
El Chingón. There you go.
El Chingón. I like that.
How about that one? Pásame el chingón. So when someone has to give you your hat, you hand it to him before you go in the ring, and then when you're getting ready to get your hand raised, you tell one of your teammates, pásame el chingón.
Pásame el chingón. Yeah, I think I should name it el chingón.
Yeah. Well, listen, I was going to ask you, obviously Avila is part of that camp with Nate Diaz, and, those guys try and be kind of hard during the week. But, shit, after the stories you were telling me of what goes down in McAllen, Texas, the mean streets of McAllen, Texas, I don't see you backing down, and I don't think anyone's mean mugging or mean looks is going to get to you.
Oh no, I'm used to it. Well, I come from Mission. Mission's kind of bad. It's bad too. You know, McAllen just has all those bars. You know, like 7th Street in Austin is just a little street of bars and clubs.
Yeah.
So you know that's where we go and party. You know, Mission. You know, it has it's good and bad things about it. You know, there's a lot of drug trafficking out here. You know, all those people from Mexico coming over. I'm about maybe 10 minutes away from the border. You know, the import and export is the Rio Grande River right there.
Right.
So, I mean, we get all kinds of shit. No, I mean, I'm used to people mugging me, looking at me. I mean, if you see me in the streets, I look like a guy that can't really fight much. And, you know, people would just look at me up and down and probably think I'll slap the hell out of this kid and just put him to sleep or something. But, you know, I really don't care. You know, people could talk all the shit they want. Chris Avila, I don't know if he's talking shit or not. He could talk all he wants. At the end of the day, we're both getting in the cage and doing what we got to do.
How do you make sure on those border towns that the wrong person that's mean mugging isn't, you know, one of those Zetas or someone from the other side that you know, just kind of thinks on a psychotic level, not just, hey, let's throw some hands, and then at the end of the day, you know, the winner buys the loser a beer or something like that?
Well, let's just say I've had a few incidents where a gun was pulled a few times, and you know, you kind of learn from it because you don't know who you're messing with nowadays here in the Valley and South Texas. You know, so you got to be careful. You know, I guess you got to tuck in your balls a little bit because I mean, these guys, you don't know who you're talking to. I mean, these guys could automatically just get a gun and shoot you. You know, it's real crazy. You know, nowadays you can't trust nobody. You can't go out and pick fights. You know, it's really crazy.
Why'd you have a gun pulled on you? Was this in the middle of a street fight or another reason?
Arguments, street fights, stuff like that. One of them, I was coming out of a strip club. A guy was just mugging me. You know, it was years ago. And I don't know. I don't back out, so I'm just mugging him too. And then he goes outside, and then he comes with his friend. He's like, "What the fuck you looking at?" You know, pulls a gun, points it at me, and you know.
Damn.
But I mean, those stories I don't really tell much because I'm not about that life. I'm more about, you know, having my family and my kids and stuff.
I respect that. We're about street fight stories though, so that's why we were asking. But I'll tell you what, but his night changed like 15 minutes ago. Or 15 minutes before that, you know, you're in a strip club getting a lap dance, and then 15 minutes later, outside, some guy's pulling a gun on you?
Yeah, like
that's crazy.
That's not my mentality when I'm going to a strip club. The last thing I'm trying to do is pull out a gun.
Yeah.
Let's just have fun tonight, right?
Exactly. Well, this has been fun, though.
Yeah. But
you're a cool guy, Ricardo Palacios.
No, I'm real humble. I mean, I got nothing to prove. I don't have to tell stories to people to make me feel like I'm big shit or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, I'm me. I train, I fight. Go in there, take care of business, and I'll go back home, be with my family, you know, and take care of bills.
I just love hearing the fact that, you know, you could have gone down one path and you elected to say enough and use those skills to walk into an MMA gym, and here you are, 8-1, fighting a Combate Clásico against Chris Avila. That's amazing.
Yeah, no, I love the sport. I love the training. I love Combate. You know, it's awesome, man.
Very cool. Well, listen, it's been fun having you on the show. And do you want to give a shout-out to Natalie and Jackie or anyone else that's listening, or plug your social media? Go right ahead.
Yeah, man, I want to shout out to Natalie, Jackie. You know, I love you, baby. Thank you for, you know, always being there with me, supporting me no matter what, through good and bad times. You know, my mom, my dad, my brothers and my sisters, they always go to my fight as well. You know, my grandma, she's a fighter. She's a warrior. You know, and I think a lot of it comes from my grandma. She's worked the fields for about 25 years.
Oh, wow.
You know, she's a strong woman, had 3 heart surgeries, knee surgery, eye surgery. I mean, you name it, she's had it all, and she's still living and going strong. You know, my social media, Ricardo Gallero Palacios on Facebook, same thing on Instagram, and Gallero05 on Twitter. You know, and I want to shout out to my sponsors. I have several of them, so it's going to be a nice long list.
Do it.
Eminent Steel, Laying Hands, Roadside Inn, Papi Chulo's Barbershop, Taylor Sports Performance. Hey, you got to look good. I got to look Papi Chulo all the time.
I like that.
Ideal, Eminem Express. Eminem Audio, B&B Express, Vitamin Shack and Shake, South Texas Citrus Alert, Alta's Heating and Cooling, Angelito's Home Health, Ranch House Burgers, and to my coach, Abram Torres, Wolfpack, and Coach Julio Perez.
There you go. All right, Ricky. Thanks a lot, man. We really appreciate it. Good luck next Thursday. We'll be watching.
I think you have a good one.
All right. See ya. Folks, we're going to take a break here. You're listening to MMA Junkie Radio on Sirius XM, Rush 93. Stay close.
How hard you try. Keep that in mind. I designed this rhyme to explain.
All right, folks, back-to-back there, Joe Ruquet and Ricardo Palacios from Combate Americas. They'll be fighting at Combate Classico next Thursday. When we come back, I'll give you all the information on how you can watch it in the United States, in Mexico on Azteca, as well as the ESPN3 information, so you can watch it online or through the app. I want you guys to have all the details because Goz and I will be watching it live. We'll be live tweeting. It's going to be a blast. And I'm telling you, man, these guys go out there and they put it on the line. Now, if you're going to be in the Miami area next week, PSG plays Juventus. Those are soccer teams from France and Italy, respectively. And, of course, the Classico teams from Barcelona and Real Madrid. And sandwiched in between is this event. So, literally, a nice 4-day vacation, man. If you're into the last-minute trips down south, do it. And to get tickets for Combate Classico, they're already sale online. There's VIP packages, or you can go to just get a regular seat at ticketon.com. And they got a lot of stuff planned, Goes. Wait till I tell you about it when we come back. But their weigh-ins, they have a post-weigh-in party, and then they have the post-fight party hosted by Nate Diaz. And they all have these beautiful blue water settings, man. It's going to be amazing. We'll tell you more about it when we come back. It's commercial and sports update, and then we'll be right back with the second hour.
I'm gonna have me some fun. It cost me my very last.
Thank you, far too kind. Yeah. Ready? Can I get an encore? Do you want more? Cook and roll with the Brooklyn boys. So for one last time, I need y'all to roll. Now what the hell are you waiting for? After me, there should be no more. So for one last time, make some noise. Get him, Jay. Who you know fresher than Ho? Riddle me that. The rest of y'all know where I'm lyrically at. Can't none of y'all mirror me back. Yeah, hear me rap, it's like hand G rapping his prime. I'm Young H.O., raps Grateful Dead. Back to take over the globe, now break bread. I'm in Boeing Jets, Global Express. Out the country, but the blueberries still connect. On the low, with the yacht, got a triple deck. But when you young, what you expect? Yep. Grand opening, grand closing. Grab your manhole, crack the can open again. Who you gonna find open a hand with no pen? Just draw inspiration. Who you gonna see you can't replace him with cheap reputation for these generations? Hardcore, do you want more? Cook and roll with the Brooklyn boys. So for one last time, I need y'all to roll. Yeah. Now what the hell are you waiting for? After me, there should be no more. So for one last time, make some noise. What the hell are you waiting for? Look what you made me do. Look what I made for you. Knew if I paid my dues, how will they pay you? When you first come in the game, they try to play you. Then you drop a couple of hits, look how they wave to you. From Marcy to Madison Square, to the only thing that matters is just a matter of years. As fate would have it, J status appears to be at an all-time high. Perfect time to say goodbye. When I come back like Jordan, we're in the 4-5. It ain't to play games with you, it's to aim at you. Probably maim you. If I owe you, I'm blowing you a smithereens. Except to take one for your team, and I need you to remember one thing. I came, I saw, I conquered. The record sale, sold out concert. Come on, you want this encore? I need you to scream till your lungs are sore.
All right, folks, it's the beginning of the second hour. There is a compilation there of, I guess you'd say, hip hop with new metal. When Jay-Z decided to join up with Linkin Park. If you haven't heard by now, the lead singer of Linkin Park took his own life yesterday, Chester Bennington. May he rest in peace. Dude had incredible talent and skills on
pipes,
on the mic for sure. We just saw Linkin Park 6 weeks ago, guys.
When was
May 20? Let's call it.
Yeah, something like that.
And we're at July. 2 months ago. 2 months ago, we saw him here at the Chelsea at the Cosmo. They had just released a new album. I gave us a couple songs, but of course, everyone wanted to hear more of their classics, and they did plenty of those. And they did about, I think Ghost said 15 shows after that. And
19.
So yesterday, 19? Yesterday in Los Angeles, California, he hung himself.
At the end of the concert, he held up a sign that said, "We'll be back like September 2nd or something like that."
Right, at the MGM.
And I instantly thought, like, I'm in. You know, that was a fun time. It was a great concert.
Yeah.
But, it sucks, man.
Yeah. And, you know, like our good friend Mauro Ranallo says, talk to somebody. We got to raise mental health awareness for sure. So don't be afraid to talk to somebody. That's for sure. Throw Goz and I into that mix. If anyone's ever feeling depressed or just, you know, life's getting the best of you, hell, call into our show. I mean, seriously. I know a lot of people that have bouts with mental illness, and it's definitely a killer for sure. All right. Azteca America is going to have a live showing of Combate Clásico next Thursday. So is Azteca in Mexico, but it'll be on a one-day delay. But I think what has you covered the most is there'll be a live television event streaming on ESPN3 and via the ESPN app, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 Pacific time. And again, this takes place in Miami, Florida at the Maná Wynwood. Tickets available if you want to go in person, ticketone.com. And they have a lot of stuff planned throughout the week. There's the weigh-ins at a beautiful hotel, and I'll get you all that information in just a sec. But I was looking at the website, and they have weigh-ins goes, a post-weigh-in show, and a post-fight show, all in beautiful locations. The post-fight show is hosted by Nate Diaz. And speaking of, we have 3 T-shirts signed by Nate Diaz to be given away here on this show. So we're going to just pay attention. We'll give you different ways, maybe one call-in, one via social media. And I always like the old, just give me it. I want it, when people just flat out ask for it.
But they got to say it like that.
Yeah.
They can't just say, hey, I love your show, man. You got to call in and go, give me the damn shirt.
Give me the damn shirt. This is the shirt. This is the size I wear. I want it. All right, cool. You got it. It's as simple as that. Azteca America is available on DirecTV 64, Dish 64, and Time Warner 1252. You'll have to check your local listings to see if you have that channel. But again, ESPN3 or ESPN app has you covered. And I've seen some great streams lately, like Dana White Contender Series looked great the other day. So no excuse not to be in there next Thursday when Goes and I are also in there live tweeting, doing a fight companion, if you will. Both guests were great, weren't they?
Yeah, they were. I was actually getting a few messages from people that were saying how cool they were.
Yeah, I liked them both. I hope Joey comes back and maybe co-hosts an episode. He was pretty cool. And
Ricky's a beast.
He is.
That guy hits hard, and he hits from every angle.
He is. Yeah. More on the MMA side for the the other stuff that we talk about, the UFC side, I should say, because a lot of people like to talk about, the UFC and what's going on with them. They just released their co-main and their main event for, let me see, it'll be UFC 215 in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, and it's taking place on September 9th. The main event will be Demetrius Johnson defending against Ray Borg. Like Dana White said, you wanted Ray Borg, you get him. So he headlines versus Ray Borg. And in the co-main event slot will be Valentina Shevchenko, and she'll be challenging Amanda Nunes. So that fight that was canceled and postponed, it now resurfaces here, and that's your 1-2 punch. Now that fight also has Francis Ngannou and Junior Dos Santos. So 1, 2, 3, off to a good start. For those that haven't warmed up to women's MMA or the lighter weight classes, I can understand that they're going to want to see a little bit more out of that fight card. And I frankly don't know if you're going to get any more because there's quite a few fights already listed. So that might be it. But
the storytelling portion of that card is done. If you look at the ranked fighters and what could come from each fight, it's actually very interesting, right? So now all you need is those little barn burner type fights that you get with like a Gilbert Melendez versus
and a Jeremy Stevens. Yeah, that's a quality fight.
Now you get a couple of those pieces of the puzzle that fit in. But as far as the storytelling and the meat and potatoes, I think it's already set.
Okay. Also included is Rick Glenn versus Gavin Tucker, Henry Cejudo versus Wilson Hayes, Ilir Latifi versus Tyson Pedro, Ashley Evans Smith versus Sarah Moras, Aryan Buller versus Luis Henrique, and Sarah McMahon versus Ketlin Vieira. Now, I've heard a lot of people already rumbling, but like I say, maybe I could see maybe one more fight with no title implications, but ranked fighters possibly getting tossed in there. I could see that. I really could. If you look at the past year or so, there's been plenty of fights. I always point to Khabib and Michael Johnson. They came out of nowhere, and they just go, oh, yeah, let's toss it onto that epic 205 card in New York that didn't need any additional talent, and yet they threw it on there. Yeah, it was New York. It was special, but still, I feel like they did it with Maya and Woodley. That announcement only came about a month ago. I know both guys were kind of training, knowing something was coming up, but I mean, if you're an Anaheim guy, you probably had already purchased your tickets based on Cormier and Jones, and then you hear that, you're like, what?
I can't think of a card where you paid for it a little earlier and got that much value
and
after
then they
you made your purchase.
moved over Cerrone and Lawler, so stuff can go down. You never know. It's a little tougher, I think. The fighters are standing up for themselves a little more. They're going into free agency and, testing those waters. Declining fights, navigating their own careers a little bit more. So there will be times where you'll basically get a fight on later notice, maybe closer to a month versus 8 weeks or 12 weeks out. It reminds me of pro football. In pro football, athletes used to like I'll give you the example of the Rams, where we lived in Anaheim or Santa Ana, California, close to Anaheim. Those athletes would show up to training camp, and when the Register and the Times would interview them, they'd talk about like the soreness and just how brutal the training camp is, the heat, the summer and 2-a-days and this and that. That was more where they expected you to kind of be in shape, but training camp's about getting you in shape. Now the NFL's different. You better be in shape because you're fighting for your job. So you better show up in shape because we're learning plays, we're learning schemes, we're getting you ready for week 1. Exhibition week 1 through 4 is just about seeing who's going to be the backups, who's going to play special teams, who made it through this healthy. But you better have showed up healthy because we're running plays, we're doing things. And I think the same thing's happening with the MMA athletes. Yeah, you may have only gotten 4 weeks notice, but you should have already been training 4 weeks ago or 6 weeks prior to that. If it's already been a good 2-3 months since your last fight, then you already better be in shape. And because a lot of fighters are going to be starting to fight closer to their weights, then I think it'll also make sense. What we're starting to lose is the fighters that have to have just 4 to 6 weeks only to get their weight to a manageable number so that then they can drop through their camp and then do the weight cut. That's exactly what George Masvidal and Dustin Poirier told me. Masvidal told me, he goes, I walk around at 90, sometimes 200. I got to get to 180 those first 4 weeks so that I can then begin the process of getting from 80 down to about, 70 or 72, and then make his water cut. He goes, now if I walk around at 90, he goes, I can take that last second fight because I only have to weigh 171, and the water cut takes up about 17 to 18 of those pounds. So I'm not doing that at additional time. I only need 4 weeks. I'm always in shape. So the game's changing in that way, and that's why I think UFC 215 people call it a 50-50. I think it's a 50-50 chance you might still get another fight.
Dude, when you brought that up, that example of training camp for the Rams back when we were kids, could it just be that the media, fans, they didn't really have access to that type of stuff back then? Could it be we just didn't know?
Know what?
As far as whether or not players are actually coming into shape. Like, now you can get a story like that instantly, right?
Right.
Somebody could just report it and right away. But could it be that they just didn't have access back then?
Do you think the players were showing up in shape?
Yeah. In other words,
or that was just made to play like they weren't in shape?
I mean, I was thinking.
I know they had off-season conditioning, but it wasn't as strict as it is now.
Of like high school, right? That reminds me a lot of high schools. When you show up, I think the coaches expect that you're going to be in not bad shape because you're still a kid, but not game shape at all. As we're in the pros, I think they expect you to be in somewhat good condition.
Oh, you better be ready to go.
Now, like the last, I'd say 5 years, now, like you better be really ready to go. Because you're right, you're fighting off beasts almost at every position.
You know that left back that plays for Manchester United? Luke Shaw. A few years ago, he signed a big contract. He played the first year, had some injuries. But when he came back, he showed up like 5-10 pounds heavy. And they immediately said just that was a big black mark against them. So even though it's your holiday and you're expected to eat and travel and party, it's not going to work out like that. What they want you to do is already be in shape regardless. Basically, you chose this lifestyle. So, yeah, you're free to go and do whatever you want and splurge from time to time, but you better be ready to go. We're going to condition you here, and then the rest of the season is just about keeping you healthy for the most part. They still go through their training and their tactics and their techniques and how they're going to line up or whatever, but they better already be in shape and ready to go. So
I remember Bill Parcells used to be a lot like that. Joe Gibbs as well. Conditioning, and I mean, look at the success those guys had.
Yeah. All right, it's 866-522-2846 if you want to call in. Joining us now on the hotline. Oh, he pops up. It's been a while. The Clearwater Beach bad boy. What's up, my man?
You went to the wrong one.
Oh, okay. The Clearwater Beach bad boy. How you doing?
Fellas, Clearwater Beach bad boy checking into the program after a bit of a hiatus, but of course when I call the show after a break, I'm always in shape. That's how the Clearwater Beach bad boy rolls.
You don't have mic rest?
Guys, let me explain something to you, and I'm sure you guys had quite an extensive career playing football at the Pee Wee levels, but let me give you a little bit of a background from a guy who spent 16 years now doing this for a living, cashing checks at a level of pro football, of course, college ball as well. The kids today, the athletes today, first of all, you got to play one.
Did you cash checks playing college too?
It's called a scholarship, but we'll get to that later, guys. Here's the thing. You got situations now where you are nowhere near as beaten down playing football as you were back then. We talk about this all the time. From athletes now, they're 24, 23 years old that I am playing with. I'm 40. A drink of water in 1994 during 2-a-day or 3-a-day high school football practices was a reward. If you pull that shit now and don't let a kid get a drink of water or tell him he has to go through an entire football practice wearing his helmet, you'll go to jail as a head football coach. There is rules and laws stated in different states of high school football that there is mandatory water breaks. You can't tell a kid, you got to go run 5 laps. If he collapses, you go to jail as a head football coach. You could lose your teaching license. Guys, it's nowhere near the same thing. The amount of guys that are practicing now and the levels and the times in the NFL, the Canadian League, or the Arena Football Leagues are nowhere near what they were in the late 70s or 80s. So even if guys were in incredible shape coming into camp now, you put those same guys in early 80s, late 70s football camps when they had 3-a-days on parking lots and on facilities where there was only water, no Gatorade, no electrolytes, they're going to come in sore as well. It's a lack and a limited version of practice that's making these guys seem like they're in better shape, plus better nutrition. That's something to think about.
Are they still trying to make high school football, like flag football, all the way up until sophomore year or something like that?
They've thought about that, yeah, limiting the contact. A lot of parents are not playing their kids lower level, but at the same time, equipment, supposedly the protection of the noggin is getting better. People are using Kevlar now, you know, instead of the rib protectors. Mm-hmm. Who knows, man? You know, and now there's kids being held back on purpose. So you have like a 19-year-old, you know, starting as a high school. Why? Because he can get that scholarship and then obviously leave a little bit earlier for the NFL and basically play catch-up there. But those reps are so important. They want you to come in ready and seasoned to go. You, as a freshman, used to learn under the senior so that you could be ready to go maybe as a sophomore, or if the junior couldn't be ready to go. And now it's definitely a lot different, man. A freshman may be ready to unseat the senior. So lots of things have changed. Go ahead.
And guys, listen, let me explain something to you. And I laugh at these parents, and I get calls from my folks and grandparents and aunts and uncles all the time, and they say, "Hey, Clearwater." I might have my grandparents call me that now. And they say, "Clearwater, listen, we got little Bobby here. He's playing in junior high. Will you come out and help the kids? Will you talk to these kids? Will you speak to them?" And when I see these parents, and I'll leave you with this, it's not the reason I called. I want to get into Lincoln Park, and I want to get into the Mayweather fight because everybody is waiting to hear my reaction to it. And I've got a bet on that and on Sideboard that you need to take, and I'll wrap it up. Here's the problem. You got a 65-pound second grader and a 71-pound third grader on a football field. With the amount of armor that these assholes are wearing, they can't hurt each other. If there's any time to play football, it's when you're in 5th grade because the most weight that a kid is going to hit you with is about 70 pounds. But you wait till you get to high school and you're a freshman and you're, well, maybe not your guys' situation, but I was 140 pounds when I was a freshman in high school. You guys are probably that in 3rd grade. Now you got to hit a 300-pound man. It's 120, but now you got to hit a 300-pound kid. So they're waiting, not playing their kids younger. They're going in as freshmen, not having any background, and now having to hit a senior. It's backwards, and it doesn't make sense. Guys, I want you to look into something real quick for those of you that are Lincoln Park, Orange County, summer concert guys like to hang out with the white kids that listen to this kind of music. Basically, they did a lot of stuff for the Transformers, right? They did a lot of soundtracks for the movies Transformers, correct?
I don't know.
I think they did like the theme song of every Transformer movie.
Did they? Okay.
Yeah. That's correct. And that has to do with what's called transhumanism. Transhumanism means that the human person can go farther than what we believe their limitations are. A lot like what you're talking about with football, which is humans going into the AI stage, which means computers running everything. Same thing in the movie, the TV show on HBO called Westworld, which, by the way, Anthony Hopkins is not only in the movie Transformers, he's in Westworld. Look into Lincoln Park, look into transhumanism, and you'll find exactly why that guy was murdered a few days ago. Guys, I'm glad OJ's out. Also, Chris Cyborg, you got to dump your money on her. Greatest female fighter in history, pound for pound, best fighter on the planet. I've been saying it for 10 years on this program. Dump your money into her, and I'll tell you what, I'll take dollars to donuts under 9.5 rounds on Conor McGregor. That fight does not go the distance because both guys lose if that happens. Take that fight huge, guys. The Clearwater Beach Bad Boy will be in Vegas soon to pick up his money.
Later. All right, let's go to the next line. It's the Clearwater Beach Bad Boy again. What's up, man? Oh, nobody there?
Hello?
Okay. All right. Let's see here. So he's saying take Conor McGregor and under 9.5?
Yeah.
Oof. Well, actually, if you do take Conor McGregor,
you might as well.
The smart thing to do is to take it for the knockout. I wouldn't play the over-under. Just play the knockout because he's not going to decision him. He's not going to outbox him for 12 rounds. He'd have to put his hands on him. The Conor McGregor KO is now plus 550. The Conor McGregor line alone is plus 450. So you get an extra 100. You can't possibly think he's going to decision him. I guess if you're crazy enough to think he's going to win to begin with, then anything goes.
Nah,
but
I don't
that's
even
like,
want to talk to anybody.
That's like 10
that.
times even crazier. You know what I mean? So you might as well take, and boy, he's going to fatigue, so maybe concentrate on the first 4 rounds. You got a 25% chance on the .01 chance that he can win. It's the same thing I'd be saying if Floyd came over to MMA. It's not a disrespect to anybody, but hell, he's getting paid for it. I'm proud of that kid, man. You know, fighting for maybe 20 grand out of Cage Wars. I'm not sure how they do over there. And seeing him all the way to $100 million payday, that's amazing.
Controlling his career, his own career, making moves, like
doing whatever he wanted to do. Yeah, that's amazing. Let's see here.
He'll go down in history just for that alone, dude.
So Floyd was minus 700 the other day. Now he's minus 650, and Conor was plus 475, I think, and now he's plus 450. So that means Conor money came in, and now they want you to bet more Floyd, so Floyd went down.
What do you think it'll be come fight night?
Floyd by KO's minus 170.
Yeah, I like that.
I just don't think Floyd. I mean, Floyd will play around with him for a while. I don't think he needs 12 rounds to do it. I think there'll be a stoppage of some sort. So you're better off just going minus 170 than minus 650 on him. What were you asking?
What do you think it'll be come fight night? That line will be way different.
I think some heavy hitters will look at it as, you know, putting 65 grand down to pick up an easy 10,000. So I think the Floyd money will come in. But see, here's the thing. You know all those stops they had, like L.A., Brooklyn, London, and Toronto? 95% pro Conor. And like I told you, if Conor would have said, knock, knock, and the crowd said, who's there? And then he just goes, Flo. And then they go, Flo who? And he goes, Floyd's mom. Ah! They all just burst into laughter. I mean, he could say anything he wants, and he's got them eating out of their hand, right? Those are the same people that just come into town. Same thing, you know, drunk, dumb, frat boys, whatever. You know,
I would have laughed at that.
That just come. They just come in and go, give me Conor. They're drunk and they don't know any better, and that's that sucker money that piles up on the other side. You see what I'm saying? So there's gonna be, I would say, the same thing you saw there, almost the same thing here, except Floyd in Vegas has a better presence. You know, there are some really, really big TMT fans. They'll come, they'll spend their money, they go in there and ravage the Las Vegas fight shop. Ask the Las Vegas fight shop, man. Floyd fans spend money. They'll go in there and they'll spend their dough. So, but I don't think they bet the fight. I think the sharps bet the fight. I think Floyd's odds are just so always tough to play, but they'll definitely spend on entertainment. But it's those suckers that'll come in. So, okay, so to answer your question goes, I would say a few days before, during fight week, will be the best time to bet Floyd. And then I think as we get closer to the fight and everyone's in town, the Conor money will pour in. Wait a minute, do I got that straight?
No, I think it's backwards.
Yeah, sorry. It's backwards.
I think if you want to bet Floyd, you
wait,
bet him now.
Yeah, wait. Bet him now, and then there's going to be a surge because that sharp money is going to come in, and so it's going to make Floyd's line go up. And that's when the Conor people are going to pounce on it. And then right before the fight starts, you may get it back the other way. But I don't see. I mean, it went down as minus 600, as low as that.
Mm-hmm.
What's the difference? Okay, a few weeks ago, minus 600 to win 100. Today, minus 650 to win. So it's an extra 50 that you just gave them to win the same $100. That's the difference. If you get into the thousands, it's 6,500 versus 6,000 to win the same $1,000. So it does make a difference. Anyway, let's take a break. You're listening to MMA Junkie Radio on Sirius XM Rush 93. We'll come back. We'll take some calls. I'll read off some more iTunes reviews, and I'll keep giving you those reminders for everything going on with Combate America's event of Combate Clásico. Here, real fast. Fontaine Blue is the official weigh-in. So this is in South Beach. Arcadia Pool is the weigh-in after party. And Mana Garage is the main event after party hosted by Nate Diaz. Plus, we'll give away a Nate Diaz shirt. We're going to try to give one away today. We'll give one away next Tuesday and then one Thursday. Signed by UFC superstar Nate Diaz. Stay close. We'll be right back.
Thanks, Julio.
You're welcome, Gozel.
Danny O. Check text the O.
Last time you had spaghetti.
To link into the MMA Junkie Radio Network, hit us up on twitter.com at MMA Junkie Radio. This is MMA Junkie Radio. Here are your hosts, Gorgeous George and Goes.
The frenzy of NBA free agency continues every day. Find out which players will be lacing up their sneakers for a new squad next season and how that will impact your favorite teams. Enjoy expert analysis and opinions on the latest free agency news, rumors, and trades all off-season on NBA Radio, Series 207, XM86, and listen anytime with the SiriusXM app. So in the end, through all, you have to it's like digging trash. When Clearwater calls, you're just like throwing, all right, a hot dog wrapper and a beer, and sometimes at the end there's something there. But through all that, his gimmick, did he say that Chester got murdered because of all these androids and robots and Martians?
Yeah.
That was his take of it all? The Martians decided to hang him?
I guess.
And they set it all up by him writing depressive notes throughout all his life and depression notes throughout all his life. And
something like that.
Okay.
I never even heard of what he talked about.
Me neither. Usually I'm like, yeah, nodding to him. All right, yeah. There's a few things that he's thrown in the past that make sense. Like, I do really feel like Cyborg's going to be tough to beat. I know Tanya Evanger's tough, and she's going to hit her a couple times. But I think in the end, like, Cyborg's size and the one thing she seemed to have done other than the Urena Bars fight, which is out of her element, but she still did well for himself. I mean, Urena Bars is undefeated for crying out loud. I think she's almost 50-0, right?
In Muay Thai.
Right. So to go in there and think just because she came up short that in any way means there's any shortcomings on her striking, you can't say that. But Cyborg rises to the occasion. Like she has in Curitiba, big moment, and she went out there and destroyed. And I don't know. This Huntington Beach is like her second home, and I think she'll be able to pull it off.
She thinks that Tanya is a tougher matchup than Megan was. And I kind of disagree. I thought Megan was the tougher matchup. Nothing against Tanya. I just think it's the style and the way Megan fights. I thought could have gave Cyborg a little bit of trouble. But even then, I mean, I still would have had her beaten both of them.
All right. The Facebook comments are loading up. Rest in peace, Chester, from David McGinn. Martin Stabilo says his feed's good. It should be. I hope it is.
It better be.
Chris Veliz says El Chichero. Maybe is he talking about the hat for Ricardo Palacios?
Either that or he's talking about Chicharito going to West Ham.
Yeah, I heard that. George Gonzalez says the video's still black. Was there a problem earlier? Okay. I like how they say hello, anyone. Motherfuckers, we're doing the show. Like, the last thing I'm looking at is these comments. That's why we want to go to a three-man someday. Hopefully Junkie Nation supports us. We do need to expand on that. Three-man here present, in our studio. We got Danny back east, but he can't see some of the things that we do. But I've noticed those comments where they say something, and if you don't react within 2 or 3 seconds, they're wondering what the fuck. Like, I'm just sitting there, like, hosting the show, just watching Facebook or the chat and seeing what they say and reacting to it and laughing and joking. I mean, that bullshit's not easy to do. Better step off with that. What's his name? George Gonzalez? Is that Little Piggy?
That's the Blur.
I'm stun gunning him on Monday. Tony Palidio. GG and Goes are some of my favorite people in MMA.
Thanks, Tony.
Not including Misha Tate. He's got a crush on Misha Tate, I think.
Yeah?
I think so.
Who doesn't?
Oh, George Gonzalez comes back with a great interview, so maybe the stun gun's off. Let's see here. Rose Hassett Rivera says Pantaleon will lose his pants. That's a good one. I like that one. Vera Rivera says Mi Nieto. So she must have talking about maybe Joe?
Maybe, yeah.
Okay, Joe had some love earlier. Chester Slick Gustafson says Brewers, awesome. And let me get back to the calls here. Good to go here from Canada. This is David from Canada. What's up, David?
How's it going?
Good, and you?
Good. First-time caller from Fredericton, New Brunswick. Not the end of the world, but you can see it from here.
Yeah, that's over there by where their Titanic went down, right?
Yeah, 4 time zones away.
New Brunswick?
You know a lot about the Titanic.
Wait, you're 4 time zones away from me, but the Titanic went down near your neck of the woods, right? Nova Scotia or something like
that? Facts. Still 4 time zones away.
Get the fuck out. Wait, hold on a second. New Brunswick. Where is it? Where's New Brunswick?
Fredericton. It's Atlantic Canada, East Coast.
All right. See, I'm gonna actually correct the Canuck here.
There are certain things that will set George off, and one of them is geography.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So
cool.
I'm looking it up right now, and of course the internet is just not cooperating one bit. Here it comes. New Brunswick. I used to be pretty good at geography.
Isn't this easy? Can you just go, hey man, what time is it?
Officially bilingual country.
Okay, look. See, this is right here is New Brunswick goes.
Okay.
All right. Here's Nova Scotia. That's called the Atlantic time zone, not the Eastern time zone. The Eastern time zone's Maine and New York and all that. So he's on the Atlantic time zone. Somewhere around here is where the Titanic went down. That's not 4 fucking time zones over. Are you high, David?
Fredericton and Halifax are both on the Atlantic, yeah.
Are you high?
Yeah, but that's beside the point.
Well, that explains it.
Well,
all right.
Wait a minute. I thought he was saying he's 4 time zones from us.
I know. I went out of my way to correct him. I go, are you 4 time zones away from us? He goes, no, I'm 4 time zones away from where the Titanic went down.
Oh, yeah.
No. I'm 4 time zones away from Las Vegas.
Oh, all right. Well, yeah, I kind of said that already.
Oh, sorry.
Let's do this. Stay silent for 3 seconds, all right? All right, here we go. Joining us now is David from Canada. What's up, David?
How's it going, George? It goes?
Good, man. What's on your mind?
Good. I'm David calling from Fredericton, New Brunswick, 4 time zones away from Las Vegas.
Oh, and that's near where the Titanic went down, right? Over there in New Brunswick?
Yes, just a few hours away from Halifax.
Very cool. What's on your mind?
I just wanted to ask you if you saw or listened to the interview with Chris Weidman on the MMA Hour.
No, what did he say?
It was particularly affecting to a Canadian because he mentioned a lot about his childhood and how they were kind of poor, and his father was a hockey coach and he couldn't afford the equipment to play hockey, so he had to take sports like wrestling and everything. But then again, that led to his great MMA career.
You know, I did not know that. I mean,
I've heard that from a few kids.
He's from Long Island, and of course, you know, I'm just generalizing here, but I always thought Long Island was a little bit more up to do, you know, like maybe more middle class, maybe even upper middle class, and for sure, like if you get to the Hamptons, like real wealth. But I did not know that about him. No, I just knew he wrestled.
If you're from my neck of the woods, you think everyone in New York is rich.
But why does a Canadian, you relate to it just because of hockey, or is that like why most Canadians do hockey? Because I heard hockey's actually really expensive in Canada, right, to play it?
Well, yeah, all the equipment is really expensive, especially if you're a goalie. But, sometimes you can qualify for, provincial subsidized, assistance.
Do you think he's going to win on Saturday?
He's dropped 3 in a row. If he drops this one, he's definitely through, I think. So, he has to, but, then again, I never thought, Gastelum would win tough, but he did.
Tell me about it. Oh, man, when it comes to tough, that guy got doubted so much. Kind of remind me a little bit of Tom Galicchio, but Calvin Gastelum's a badass, man. I like that guy.
Was he the last pick that season?
Yeah, he was. Yeah. He took Tyron Woodley to a split decision.
I mean, here's the thing. With Chris Weidman, when you look at his last 3 losses, you want to look for things that they have in common, right? Mm-hmm. And he's taking a lot of shots. Mm-hmm. His defense. And even if you go back to some of his wins, they're good wins, but he also took a lot of shots. Is his defense improving? That's what you look at when you want to pick the winner of this fight. And his defense hasn't been improving. That's why I didn't pick him.
Yeah.
The Lyoto Machida fight, I brought that up. He took a lot of shots from Lyoto. He just happened to hit Lyoto with better shots.
Yeah, I remember I watched the first couple rounds of that. It was on a UFC Reload the other day versus Lyoto Machida. And I believe that Weidman, which he kind of got back to wrestling a couple times in his last couple fights, but I think he needs to rely on that and trust his ground game, because his ground game is really, really good. Even if it's not to get the finish, it's just to deplete his gas tank and bank rounds, you know, and for sure shore up your defense, because the one thing Kelvin can do is he unleashes and he throws hard.
I would imagine if Chris Weidman's in the blue corner and I'm in the red corner, I'm thinking, dear Lord, I hope this guy doesn't take me down. I don't want him on top of me. This dude's a beast. So if you're Chris Weidman, I think you got to think what that guy's thinking and put that guy in that deep water. Whatever it is he's thinking. If you're fighting Anderson Silva, you're thinking, how do I get this guy down? Because I do not want him right in front of me.
Yeah, spot on. All right, David, thanks for the call, my man. Appreciate you, you know.
Oh, man. I'm so high right now. I have no idea what's going on.
Thanks for calling in, brother. He did sound high.
I like that guy, though. Hope
I
he
nailed
comes
it, yeah. Shout out to Sean Lennon saying what's up in our chat. He co-hosted with Dave Madden a few weeks ago here in studio. Shout out to Dave Haddish now and Richie Richardson. Veronica Menard, always sending a sweet message. She's one of my favorites. Shout out to Aaron's wife. All right, so what are we going to do about the special edition show that's starting at 1?
Brought it up, or bring it up.
Are you going to Facebook chat that one? Even if it's just, you want, can you do it to the Junkie Radio one maybe? Because we'd have to get permission to see if Big Junkie will let us do it again. And
I don't see why they wouldn't.
Okay.
Right? But worst comes to worst.
Could you do it on Junkie Radios?
I can always just, no.
Oh.
I can always just record it here. So we'll have clips of it.
But can anyone watch it live?
Not unless we do it the way we do it every day.
Okay. What do you want to do?
I don't mind. It's just all the same to me.
You don't think the editorial will mind us putting up another show 1 hour later?
We'd have to ask them, but I don't see why they would.
All right. We're going to do a special edition show, as you've seen by now if you're a subscriber on iTunes or SoundCloud. We threw up 4 extra shows this week. And so, SiriusXM audience, take note. Obviously, you can catch us live, catch us on, on Sirius Rush 93, 8 p.m. Eastern. Replays the next day at 7 a.m. Eastern and on the SiriusXM app, commercial free and in HD. But if you want to listen to some additional content that we put out this week, you can subscribe to us on iTunes or catch us on SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/MMA Junkie Radio, and our Facebook page, facebook.com/official MMA Junkie. You just have to scroll down a little bit, but you'll see the whole shows, the video component that accompanies, and get familiar with our website too, because it kicks ass. But we're going to be doing an additional show with Greg LaRosa, who's the head of security for the Money Team. He's going to come into the studio. We're going to talk about that whirlwind tour that they had, so it should be fun. Our previous 3 special editions had to do with just us and our trips to Dana White Contender Series here in Las Vegas. I really love that show and that format, and so we spent an hour talking about that. Yesterday we talked about the origins of Junkie Radio, which was Tag Radio before it was Junkie Radio. And then our other show had to do with...
we talked about... We're missing the first one, the very first one we did.
Yeah, what was it, Danny?
Mayweather-McGregor.
Mayweather-McGregor, yeah. That's right. The controversy surrounding that, because we talked about, like, 10-9, and, the Voltron, and the mics were hot, and Steven Espinoza, 2 jets in 1, but we kind of steered away a little bit from Floyd using, his version of the F word, and Conor, and teetering on, some of his racist stuff. So we talked a little bit about that and how we felt about it, but those are special edition shows that you can find there.
A lot of people had fun with the one last night.
Did they?
Yeah, they really liked it.
We're going to be back in line. So after today's 2 shows are loaded, will be at $24.95. Next Monday will be $24.96, and then the following Friday will be show number 2500. So we're pretty stoked about that, and it lands, you know, the same week that the UFC's in Anaheim, California, the one city over from where we grew up in Santa Ana, California. So that's why we did it. We just figured it'd be nice to do it back on OC soil. You still have time to call in, 866-522-2846, but you better make it quick. We're going to take a quick break, and if you have anything you want to share with us, call in. Otherwise, we'll do some iTunes reviews when we come back. Stay close. It's not going to be too long. It'll be a quick one, and it's MMA Junkie Radio on Sirius XM Rush 93 that you're listening to.
I don't know. My voice isn't as clean as
Shut up!
They can drink Mentos-flavored Diet Coke without their stomachs giving a single fuck. They are Gorgeous George and Goes. And this is MMA Junkie Radio.
All right, I did all the reads for today. Shout out again to NBA channel XM86 and NFL radio channel XM88. Those are two of my favorites. Also big fan of First Wave 33. Let me throw out some social media. I can be followed on Twitter and Instagram at MMA Junkie George. Goes can be followed at The Goes. The radio show is at MMA Junkie Radio, both for Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. Danny, our producer, Auto253 on Twitter and Instagram.
Automatic 253, yeah, on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook.
Facebook too.
All of them, basically.
There you
and
go.
like Spotify and stuff too.
Support his band. He does a great job for us. He's part of our family. We probably don't shout out enough some of his other endeavors. He's the lead singer of a band called Automatic 253, and they tour from time to time. Do gigs, I should say, from New Jersey, Pennsylvania, New York. So, describe the type of music it is, Danny. Punk, am I right? Or
it's early 2000s pop punk. So like really bouncy but simple chord progressions.
There you go. All right. Goes. Where did I leave off on the reviews?
The last one you did. Let me see. Where you at?
Oops.
Where you at, George?
I done fucked up. Hold on a second. We got one in, so thank you to that gentleman. We need one more for 500. Do you remember Robert William Abrevia?
No.
Jamoan 79?
Yeah, I do.
Bunny 633? Oklahoma Knowles? Dan Tom? I don't think we did those.
You sure?
Yeah.
I thought we did them a while ago.
Brandon in Louisville? Dave Madden. I know that. El Paso. El Paso was the one we needed to do. Here we go. Because we did Dave MMA Madden. Because he actually thanked me for reading his review. So I know we did that one. All right. This one's from El Paso. February 11th, 2017. Is that Alton?
Probably.
Does he ever refer to himself as that?
But, I mean, enough people have heard it that they might just use the name.
Right.
But I would think it was.
Longest tenured MMA podcast hosts are still delivering the best content in the business. George and Goes have a way of interviewing guests that is unmatched, and the show is still on. Still an incredibly fan-friendly podcast, even though it's mainstream. If you are a fan of the sport of MMA, this is a must-listen. Then again, if you are a fan of MMA, you probably already joined the famous Junkie Nation. That was February 11, 2017. Best MMA podcast was the title. 5 stars. You can leave us a review that's 1 to 5 stars. We read them all. We don't get the 5 stars. Just tell us what we're doing wrong. We'd love to gain them all because it really helps the algorithm a lot. And we have 499, so we need one more. Then I'll be bugging you to get us to 600. Billy 247. February 12th, 2017. This is the best MMA podcast in the world. Great callers and guests, especially Chili Billy. So, see how I snuck that in there?
Mm-hmm.
I have been listening to these dummies for nearly a decade now. If you're looking for a better news source and a like-minded MMA family, then this is the place. Plus, it's free. The next one comes from Definitely Not Danny. February 12th, 2017. My favorite MMA show. 5 stars. Before I started listening to the show, I didn't know much about MMA. After listening on a daily basis, I can definitely say I've grown to appreciate the sport. Gorgeous George and Goes continue to make every episode fun and engaging. I recommend this podcast to MMA diehards and MMA noobs alike. Danny, is that you?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Thank you,
All right, we'll start off with Dan Tom next week, and we'll finish things out. We have one more to do. In fact, the person that leaves the 500
gets the prize.
We'll get the Nate Diaz T-shirt. There you go. The last one given was V. Ray Mo. So whatever comes in after that, and it's going to have to be the North American iTunes version, unfortunately, because it just doesn't have a timestamp, and I don't know how we could. If you tell me it's somewhere else, I'll go find it. UK, Australia. I just don't know who comes in first. So
because America, that's why.
So yeah, it'll have to be whatever comes in here through the ones that I read. So there was No was one of them, and then V Rainbow, $4.99. It's been sitting at $4.99 for a few days, and then the next one will get the Nate Diaz signed T-shirt. Thanks to all our guests this week: Joey Ruquet, Ricky Palacios, Michael Chandler, Joe Nadawat, Miles Hunsinger, Tyler King, Eric Anders, Ryan Stoddard, Kurt Hollabaugh, Amanda Bell, Jake Shields, Andre Harrison, Brandon Gertz, Boston Salmon, and Dan Tom. We will be doing an extra show with Greg LaRosa. Check it out in about an hour. We might have it live on Facebook. If not, catch it on SoundCloud or iTunes. Have a nice weekend. Be champions.
It cost me my very last dime. If I wind up broke, well,